What's good, everybody? It's your boy Ed, Black Kings of the Ring. I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Hope everybody eat up, get stuff, and enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the family, enjoy the good times, and just keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? All right. I just want to talk to y'all about two pay per views this month that we have. One from AEW, which was Full Gear, which is probably the number one pay per view of the year so far. If not, I'll give it two. Um, the only other one I probably would give is WrestleMania over everything else. The next thing I want to talk about is Survivor Series. I want to get into that a little bit as well. But first, I want to start with Full Gear. Um, every match on there was awesome. Like just it was a different style match for each match in general. You had your standard match, you had a standard formal tag team match. You had a Texas Death match. You had a ladder match. You had, majority of the titles. I think all of the titles were on the line. So it was pretty much like a battle of the belts match or pay per view, pretty much, which was all out just phenomenal. Now, I will say this much. MJF probably one of the best wrestlers out right now, man. I hate to say it. I know people will bash me, but the boy showed his butt off, man. That's all I gotta say. The boy did the A double. He just A double hockey sticks, man. He showed it all, man. That's all I gotta say. He was amazing. Once again, that's the thing that I like with AEW is that they show each side of your character, of the characters, and they show additional things that they can do. Everything is not just standard. It's not always the same thing every single time that you get into the ring. So that way you know like somebody's doing something different. Not like, oh, he's setting them up for this. Uh-oh. Here come the coup de grace. Here comes the choke slam, or here comes the spear. Like you don't see it coming at any given moment. So that's the one thing that I do say that I will agree with AEW and I like about, and it keeps you intrigued as far as watching the wrestling. They still got some work to do as far as the entertainment, but I will say it has been the best AEW from September on up until now, hands down. Storylines are great. MJF holding it down. Ricky Starks doing his thing. Him and Big Bill. You got Hangman and Swerve Strickland, which is, I will say, the match of the year. Um, Hands down. Maybe the tag team match from WrestleMania was probably up there. I'll give that up there. And of course, Roman and Cody was a good match, but it wasn't, you know, it was a climax and it was, the rise and fall because of, everything that happened. Now, I will say this much. I hope MJF do not go to WWE. I know it's still going around that he might go there, but if he do, his character is going to be watered down. I don't know how much, but that's something that you do not want to see. I don't want to see. I hope that he keep his contract extended and continue to make those millions of dollars. I don't know. Once again, I don't know if it's going to be 1 million or 2 million that they get with WWE. I know Tony Khan probably playing about five to 10 with that extension or whatever he did last year or the middle of this year, right before. Actually, it might have been last year with him and CM Punk when they were going at it and back and forth and everything. So I think that he's going to get his money worth. Um, I will say this though: the first match was it was Sting, Adam Copeland, and Darby Allin versus Christian Cage, um, Luchasaurus, and then it was the young boy. I can't remember his name already, which was a good match. Um, it stood up for it. They had Ric Flair in the corner. Everything was going, smooth. Ric Flair wanted to get in it. Christian just dirty, man. That dude is grimy as can be. He literally poked Flair in his eyes and then gave him a straight low blow like it wasn't nothing. He just said, "Bow!" and them shits. And it was just like, hold up, Flair. Like, you better not pause like that no more, yo. You about to fall and be out for real. So Christian held his thing. Of course, Adam Copeland, he did his thing. Sting still showing that, he's still Sting. He's not changing, hasn't changed, won't change for nobody. He will be who he is. And he had his son there tonight, which was also another a good thing that happened. So I was pretty impressed with that, just so his son can see how he wrestles. I'm pretty sure his son was at a bunch of his other shows and always been there, but not front row and center like he has been. If he was, then that's still good, but at least they finally giving him a shout out. Or Sting's finally giving him a shout out, like, yeah, this is my boy right here. I love you, son. And keep it moving. Sting is gonna he's going out on a high horse. That's all I gotta say. If he go out on a low horse, shame on him. Shame on Tony Khan. He did the Vince McMahon. I'll say that much. I would say Triple H, but I don't think Triple H was in charge at that time when Flair retired. So I'm gonna say Triple H. I'm not gonna say Triple H. I'm gonna say that it was Vince McMahon, and maybe more so of the Kurt Angle was Vince McMahon as well. Instead of letting him go out on his high horse and everything, I'm still gonna say that was another screw over of Vince McMahon instead of making him look great and trying to bring up a rising star in Baron Corbin from NXT since he was a bad guy and everything. I get it, but I don't think that's gonna work. Especially with Sting. I mean, Sting he's been wrestling for over 30 plus years, man. 40 years, close to 40. He's been wrestling since the 80s. Flair been wrestling for since the 60s, man. Like, yo, my golly, yo, like that's ridiculous, man. Like late 60s, early 70s. It's time there. So Flair got 50 plus years of wrestling and then Sting got the 40, man. If I'm gonna say 30, 40. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happened. Now, there's a couple of things I want to talk about. The ladder match. Big Bill, Ricky Starks versus FTR, the House of Black, and they've also faced Roosh and his brother, which was also a good match. LFI is what they call them. And it was awesome. I mean, the match had everything from a power driver on the ladder, all types of dives, all types of finishers, all types of everything. Tables, everything was included in this match. It was a brawl. And then, Ricky Starks and Big Bill just pulled it out. Big man versus big man. That happened. It was nothing you could say bad about the match. I mean, I really, really was rooting for Roosh because I like Roosh now. Like, not that I didn't like him, but I've seen more of him to say like this is one of the craziest, straightforward, hard-hitting wrestlers that I've seen in a minute. Besides Gunther. Gunther is another one where it's like, whoa, like I don't want to get slapped. I don't want to get touched by this man because he's gonna kill you. That's how I feel. Roosh slaps, Roosh kicks, Roosh punches, all of it. Like everything has a purpose to it. It's like the dude has no filter or anything. He's ready to do damage. And that's the type of wrestling that I like. But just the physicality, like he's serious about his craft. Like that's what it looks like. So I give credit to that match. Kenny Omega the Golden Jets, they fought, which was Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho versus the Young Bucks. Now, the Young Bucks are still, they're just going through a slump right now. They lost. I mean, it was a fair match. They did a couple of little blows. They thought they was going to get away with it. Chris Jericho, his 50-plus-year-old behind, and Kenny Omega, they did their thing, man. They just showed that they have, the willpower, the strength. They still got heart, charisma. They still got it all. They still know how to put on a classic banger, and they go make sure that you get your money's worth. And it literally went about 20, felt like it was 20 minutes. I can't say if it was initially 20 minutes, it might have been 15, but the entrances and everything, it was awesome. Like, I was not upset at that match whatsoever. Hands down, awesome match. Another match that was awesome was Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. That match reminded me of a Raven versus Tommy Dreamer match in ECW, or RVD versus, him and Sabu versus the Eliminators, or some other sort. Jerry Flynn and RVD. It was just, it had all of the classic ECW moments in one match that you can never take away from those two whatsoever. That will be a memorable moment. I don't think you can change the angles of the match. I don't think you can change the perspective. I don't think you can change the meaning behind the match. It was everything you hope for going into it, but everything was unexpected. Like, I thought they was gonna stop at some levels, but they was like, oh hell no. Like, we go all in and do everything that we have to do. And they did. I mean, you got Hangman. Hangman got power dropped on the guardrail. He also got Death Valley drivered on a center block on the outside of the ring. He stapled, Hangman stapled Swerve's cheek and his chest with a staple gun. And I mean, you can't fake no staples going into your chest or anything like that. I guess ain't that he been stapled enough from having damage done, probably from the Indies or, wrestling over in Japan, wherever he did his work. He had some hardcore strain matches, and I've seen him bloodied up in a bunch of matches before. So, yeah, he wasn't falling whatsoever. So I definitely give him the thumbs up and a big ups to him, man. Swerve, I think he should be champion soon. He will be the first Black champion, which is also, that's that work right there. And I think he's going to get it. I think he's going to get to be the first Black champion. There's nobody else Black that they're pushing. Keith Lee. So we'll see what happened on that. The match literally, I think, went about a half an hour long. It felt like it was a last man standing match, pretty much. You had to beat the count of 10 to get up. If you didn't, that was it. Swerve, pretty much. He got the chain wrapped around Hangman Adam Page's neck, and that was pretty much the end of the match. After that, he choked him out, and that was it. I mean, there was tables involved. He got put through a table. Swerve did. He still kicked out. Death Valley driver as well through it. He was just incapacitated for the longest, man. And I think Adam Page, he didn't put his foot on the gas. That's what it was. He didn't put his foot on the gas. Otherwise, he could have held it down a little bit longer and probably won a match. But then you got outside interference with Brian Cage and everything, which was corny. But he got his too, so I can't even be mad. He got, the barbed wire, even, and that's the other thing. He had a chair with the barbed wire wrapped around that they landed on him. I'm like, hold up, what in the world is going on here? So you definitely got some, some things going on where you could be like, oh wow, wait, oh, like for real, like this is what's going on. So I think in the future, I think he gonna get the title. I'm not sure if it's gonna be this year. At the end of the year, you got World's End. That could be one, or you could have him, Revolution or something. Um, right before Will Ospreay gets there. And that was the surprise of the night. So pretty much Will Ospreay is still over in Japan. He has a contract that he has to oblige by. Otherwise, he got to get bought out. So he's going to finish his, his reign there as champion or whatever the case may be. And then he's going to be officially AEW All Elite. Now, the other thing that I got to say about that is Triple H and them was also interested in getting Will Ospreay. There's two reasons why he probably didn't go. One is his character is going to be completely different. There's nobody that went from Japan over to WWE that character has not changed or gotten terribly worse. They haven't even done Shinsuke Nakamura. Not even AJ Styles. He's another one who should have been champion for. He should have been one reigning champion for a while, but he didn't because they destroyed this character and made it terrible. Instead, they went with the the Johnson, the NOIE family, and kept it on Roman Reigns. Now, I remind you, back in the day, I remember the Road Warriors kicking the Samoans ass. I don't know how bad, but they were kicking their behind for a while. And it took interference from everybody to get them to, get some wins. They ain't hold the titles much. I mean, look where they were at. If there wasn't with LAD, they was with the Skyscrapers for a little bit, or another tag, the Four Horsemen, or whatever. Like Samoans were like jobbers to me, but they just were hard head, guys. Like they had the hard heads when they went in attack, so it was going good. Now the one thing I want to talk about with the MJF situation, MJ. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Now MJF, he had two matches. The first match, he fought with Samoa Joe to fight the Gun Club, and they beat them. He got injured, supposedly. Well, he did get injured. I ain't gonna say supposedly. He got hurt by the Gun Club after the match, and the match went probably 10 minutes. Joe did his thing, beat him up, choked him out. That was it. Then afterwards, the Gun Club interfered, jump him from behind after Adam Cole had came out to try to, say something or, just to be by his side, give him motivation. It gave him motivation to continue the match, but then afterwards, the interference happened. Now, the other thing that was a major issue was, and I don't know if anybody paid attention to it, Samoa Joe left, never came back. Adam Cole come out, didn't lift the finger. I mean, not even a mighty finger of doom was up in the air. It was literally like, oh wow. So now my question is, how do you defend that? How do you sit there and let your partner, the man that said he's going to keep these tag team titles on his shoulders, on your shoulders until you get back from injury? Now, the other thing is Adam Cole was the last person, because I'm trying to figure out who's the devil. Now, the devil also had the mask, which was left in MJF's locker. The last person in the locker room with him was Adam Cole. The person kind of looks like Adam Cole because it's a slim-faced person. Not saying anything about that, but that's one area where you can look at where you can be like, interesting. Slim face. The next thing is he had the ring. Now I can understand him having a ring because, of course, okay, MJF went to his, he came out of his locker, number one. Number two, he didn't have it on him, which is kind of like, why you don't have your ring on you? You always have that ring, no matter what. It's always tucked in your shorts. So did he just give it to Adam Cole this night, or was that stolen as well? That couldn't have been stolen because now you think about it, he fought Juice Robinson. He had the ring. So Adam Cole must have went into his locker and got the ring then, and then that's when he handled the business. Crazy just to think about it, but that's probably what happened. So the other clue for the devil is the Gun Club. Neither them or Juice Robinson was there that night that Jay White got jumped. Not a soul in sight. And they jumping him. So my clue or my thought process is one of the guys is either Kyle O'Reilly. I won't say Bobby Fish, but it's a possibility. Roderick Strong and maybe one of the other members of Kingdom or both of them. Maybe it was the Kingdom, the Kingdom in general. Adam Cole is the leader, is the actual devil. And maybe Kyle O'Reilly is the other person, the new, or the Gun Club. Maybe they are the other ones because it was about 4 or 5 people. 5 or 6, I think, maybe that jumped Jay White that night. It was a bunch of people. It wasn't just, 2. It was like at least 5 or 6 people. And then, of course, it had to at least be 4 or 5 people to jump the Acclaimed as well. So that's another thing you got to look at. So just keep your eyes on that just to see what's going on, because that's going to be a big factor coming up at War's End if MJF loses his title. The only other thing is if there's some type of twist to it where everything is pre-recorded beforehand and they're not showing it, and it could be MJF as the devil along with Adam Cole. So they pretty much turn a heel and being tag team champions and everything else. And, whoever was the bad guy is now officially the good guy and, going to try and get some payback. But the devil is the devil and he called it how it is and you can't change that fact. So I think that's going to be what it is. And now on to Survivor Series. We officially have Randy Orton back for Survivor Series. He had back surgery. He's been out for a year and a half. I know he's not ring rust. He may have to show that for a little bit, but we'll see if he's actually ring rust or not. But he's been really, really preparing for this. I hope he go out on a high horse. I know he's 43. I know he's probably not gonna wrestle too much longer, or maybe he will. He has us kids to look forward to in the future. He's been paid millions of dollars, so he has nothing to worry about. But it's Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, all against Judgment Day and Drew McIntyre. I like the match, but then that's the only men's War Game match, which is a Raw match, which sucks because I was looking forward to the Bloodline at least being on this card. You have no Jimmy Uso, you have no Solo Sikoa, unless the matches happen on Friday where they make these matches for the next night. And that's a tag team match maybe with Kevin Owens and LA Knight versus Jimmy and Solo. It's the only thing I can see. And then you got the females, which is on SmackDown, and having their War Games match, which consists of 4. It's you got Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, Shotzi Blackheart or Shotzi, and Becky Lynch versus Damage Control, which consists of Io Sky, Bayley, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. That could be a good match. I mean, you have incredible talent, so that's in the ring in general when you deal with Damage Control. If you're looking at it from that angle, they all can hold their own. The only difference is the height, maybe. Well, that's definite. The height advantage with Bianca and Charlotte. Shotzi's pretty tall too. And then you got Io, Kairi. Kairi's like 88 pounds or something like that. So, I mean, you look at that, you're like, whoa. Versus, those two teams going at each other. I don't see that. I mean, I see it going maybe 10 minutes. Well, it'll probably go longer since it's a Survivor Series and the clock got to tick down. So I think there's like 3-minute intervals before the next person come in. So it'll probably go about a half an hour or so. Half an hour or longer. It's going to be good, hopefully. Then you have, like I said, with the men's match, that can go probably about an hour long, depending on how you putting it. What Randy is going to do, if he's going to trade on him, because everybody that's on his team, he didn't RKO or he got to get some payback on, especially with Sami Zayn and Jey Uso, because those are the reasons why he actually got injured and was put out of WWE for a year and a half. So you got to look at that and see what Randy's thought process is going to be. He might be okay for that night, but the following night, he's definitely not going to be okay for it. And then you have the next one is Gunther versus The Miz. Like, I don't even know why they did that match. I mean, I'm gonna watch it just to see how it's gonna be, but I don't see The Miz being Gunther. I see him getting obliterated. Period. Just bye, Miz. Go to Maurice. Let her, lick your wounds and see what happened. But that's about it. I don't think there's really any other match worth watching, or I don't even. Oh, you got Carlito versus Escobar. So that's gonna be another good match, because now we gotta figure out what's going on with Ray. Is Delgado Fantasma gonna reappear? Because you got Joaquin and them on still with the LWO, so they represent Carlito and Rey Mysterio until everything unfolds. So unless they bring up Garza and his partner, they're cousins, and they become a part of the new Delgado del Fantasma. So that's going to be the next thing we see happen. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it, and I think it's going to be a good show with Randy coming back. Maybe we'll see somebody else come back, and maybe that'll be something that'll shake the waves. Everybody is thinking CM Punk's going to come to WWE again because it's at Survivor Series in Chicago. I don't see that happening, so we're gonna see what happens. I just want to thank y'all for watching. I'll catch y'all later. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, man. Have a good night. Peace.